Hello and welcome back. I have a Cricut tutorial for you today. It is using the Cricut Draw feature, so you can use this on any Cricut. So you're just going to go ahead into Design Space, and when you select the artwork, you're going to go for Drawing Only, and it's going to come up with the drawn images. So if you go into that and look for flowers, because I've put flowers in the search bar there. If you're going to just put flowers in, you're going to get every flower. So on the left hand side, when you can narrow down your option, do art type and drawing. So you're going to need your Cricut pen, but most of the machines come with the Cricut pen, and it's going to draw your image for you. So I've chosen this one and I've scaled it down to 4 inches. And that's a nice size for a 6x6 card, which we are using today. And you're going to want to, once you're in this map preview window, you can actually move your objects around at this point. So you're going to move it along, because I don't want to cut it right. I don't want to kind of draw it right next to the image. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of colouring in. I'm just speeding this one up because all I'm doing is the background. When it comes to doing the flowers, this isn't going to be speeded up, so it's going to be in real time, but I'm just kind of doing the background. And I'm using Nuvo pens today. Everything will be linked in the description below, so you don't need to worry. You can click on the links and see what I've used. Okay, so you can I'm going to use a pink for the flower. And it's a basic shape. It's not going to take much skill. You're just going to use your light and shade if you want to, or you can just make it one color. It's going to be pretty either way, but it's a nice clear image to color in as well. And it just looks like you've stamped it rather than it being drawn by a digital die cutting machine. It's a really nice feature. I like it a lot. And it's a good way to practice your coloring as well, because you can just do a load of images and colour them in. So I'm just going in with the lighter shade of pink. You cannot use your watercolour with this because the water will make your drawn lines smudge, so you don't want to do that. So just go over the flowers. I'm making them both the same colour. I like this pretty simple flowers. There's not much colouring to do, but I will do it in real time. It's really nice quality alcohol pens from Nuvo. You can buy them singly, or you can buy them in packs of 3, the coordinating shades. So like you'll have 3 pinks in different shades, for example. Okay, so you can see the colours I'm using there. So this is the next medium tone. We'll just add a little bit of shading in. Just gives that definition. And where the lines look a little bit more blocky now, and I'm going to go back over it with the lighter pink again, this alcohol will evaporate and it will smooth everything out. So just follow it round. Just adding a little bit of depth and definition there. Okay, so that's the darkest of the pink in the pack of 3 pink pens. It's number 454 that I used there. So we had 450 to start with, 452, and then 454. So we'll do the flower centres next. So we're going for the orange pack, and that's number 389 I used first of all. And I will shade with number 393. Just add a little bit in there. On to the leaves and petals. So I'm starting off with 359. Shading with 361. And I'm going in with 366. That's the darkest. Just to do those veins, and I'm doing the stems as well. And remember, you can get different colour Cricut pens as well. Different colours, different thicknesses, so you can experiment with that too, in the same way as you would with inks. So that was number 361. And I shall define with 366. Just going to go back over that with the lightest green and with the darkest, just to define. You can do as much or as little shading as you like. I even like it in just black and white too. Okay, so that was cut to 4. Was it 4 by 4? Let me just double check that. Just to re-measure what the card base was at. Card base is cut to 5 1/4. So now I'm going in with my Distress Oxide ink in tumbled glass, and I'm just going to go over the white of the card with a blending tool. Really like the way the blue makes it pop, and it's kind of patchy. I don't mind that. It's almost like sky then. Don't worry too much about your blending skills, but Distress Oxide is super easy to get down on card. Just make sure you're using the right card in the first place. You want a nice smooth card that will accept ink well. But I do like the kind of patchy look, as I said, on this blue. But it does really make the central image pop rather than just leaving it white. And it's just a little bit more attention to detail. So I'm using my media mat to add the ink. Take it from there. And this is also an excellent surface for blending onto. Okay, so now it's time for a stamped sentiment. So I'm using Tonic Studio's Topper Essentials stamps. I'm going to go for wishing you a beautiful day. Now this is actually a piece of the card that I cut off from my initial piece the drawn piece of card that I put into the Cricut, and it's an inch deep. So obviously you need it the length to be sentiment. I'm just going to go ahead and add some tumbled glass ink to that as well, and that gives you that more rounded, cohesive look. Everything looks a bit more thought out when things match. So you don't want it to go in too heavy, so I'm just taking it straight from the ink pad. And I'll be stamping that in Memento ink Tuxedo Black. Always a good idea to have it the right way up, which I didn't initially. I'm glad I noticed that before, but I guess I could just, with this, I could just turn it over the other way. But yeah, it's a nice trick of mine. So I'm just using the grid on my mat to just make sure I'm straight. Okay, that gives a nice impression. So I'm just going to trim that down. So initially I thought I'd wanted it a little bit bigger, but I trim it down again because I just preferred it a bit smaller. And then go ahead and re-ink and ink over the edge that you've just cut as well. And pop that on with some foam pads. I think it looks nice just there. Just lifting it up makes a big difference. Then have a little touch that makes a difference to your card making. Okay, so I have some ribbon. Let's tie that into a bow. Again, I wasn't quite sure where I wanted this to go, so you'll see me move it around. I knew it needed a ribbon or something else, but I just couldn't quite make out where to put it. But I was pleased with where I placed it in the end. So I'm just using a glue dot, a mini glue dot, to attach my ribbon. That's the least messy and most secure way of doing that. I don't know why I didn't think of that in the first place. It looks nice there. Just letting you into a little bit of my thought process. But it's really important with card making that you go through these processes of just seeing what you like, what you don't like. It's just about playing, you know, it's supposed to be fun. Okay, let's make this a little bit shorter. And so I'm just going to use a little strip of card, and I'm using the Tonic Fuchsia Pink Craft Perfect card, and it's got a slight texture to it. So I'm going to cut that at 1 inch wide by 6 inches, which is the size of the card base. You've caught me on a very unsure day, haven't you? Couldn't quite work it out. It's been very warm here in the UK, and being a woman who's permanently warm already, it's given me a bit of brain fog, I think. So that's 1 inch by 6 inches. I'm going to just pop that a little way in. Didn't measure it, but just a little way in. So I already have some tape on that. And I have some tape on the card already, although I will double check myself. A little pink strip lifts it nicely. I'm going to add one more finishing touch. I'm using some glitter drops. I couldn't see that colour on the website, unfortunately, but you might be able to find it elsewhere. Just 3, and they will dry hard like an embellishment and sparkly. What's not to love? And it's just a delicate little touch. And that, my friends, is it. It came together easily. It's a lovely, simple card to make. It's got some nice techniques. If you haven't used them before, they're good to try out. So everything is linked in the description below. And I will see you next time. Thanks so much for stopping by. Take care of yourselves and stay safe. Thank you. Bye-bye.